Welcome to Female Code Zone. Today, we're talking about something most men never realize. The words you choose can either drain attraction or quietly ignite it. Many men give compliments that feel nice in the moment but fade almost instantly. They sound polite, safe, and forgettable. Yet there are certain ways of speaking that linger, echoing in a woman's mind long after the conversation ends. This isn't about tricks or rehearsed lines. It's about presence, emotional clarity, and the calm confidence of a grounded man. Let's begin with an uncomfortable truth. Most compliments are born from insecurity, not strength. When a man blurts out praise just to be liked, his words carry tension. Statements like, "You're so beautiful," or "You're perfect," seem positive on the surface, but they often reveal a hidden motive. They suggest he's trying to earn something: approval, attention, validation. That subtle neediness is felt, even if it's never spoken aloud. And when that happens, attraction quietly slips away. Attraction doesn't grow from being placed on a pedestal. It grows from being understood. A woman doesn't want to be worshipped as an object or ideal. She wants to feel noticed as a human being with depth, contradictions, and an inner world. When praise is too broad, too eager, or too frequent, it loses its power. It also shifts the balance of the interaction. Instead of two people meeting as equals, it turns into one person performing and the other judging. From a psychological and emotional health perspective, this matters more than people think. Communication rooted in lack creates anxiety on both sides. The man feels pressure to impress. The woman feels pressure to respond. Neither feels fully at ease. Calm, grounded communication, on the other hand, signals emotional safety. It lowers defenses. It allows curiosity and connection to form naturally. This is not about dominance or control. It's about self-regulation, emotional maturity, and knowing your own worth. The Stoic mindset helps here. A Stoic man doesn't rush to fill silence. He doesn't over-explain himself. He observes first. When he speaks, his words are measured and intentional. That restraint gives his voice weight. Instead of scattering compliments everywhere, he offers them sparingly, almost like punctuation rather than noise. This creates contrast, and contrast is what makes words memorable. Before offering any compliment, pause and check in with yourself. Ask why you're about to say it. Is it coming from genuine appreciation or from a desire to be liked, chosen, or reassured? This moment of self-awareness is powerful. It protects your dignity and keeps your communication clean. From a mental and emotional wellness standpoint, this habit reduces anxiety and builds self-respect. You're no longer reacting, you're choosing. When admiration comes from fullness rather than hunger, it lands differently. It feels calm, it feels grounded, it feels safe. And safety, emotionally speaking, is one of the strongest foundations for connection. When a woman senses that your attention is intentional rather than impulsive, she relaxes. She becomes more present. She leans in, not because she's impressed, but because she feels seen without being chased. This is the frame we're building from. Not louder words, but clearer ones. Not more praise, but better presence. In the next part, we'll explore the first type of compliment that speaks to the inner world rather than the surface, and why that shift can quietly change the entire dynamic between two people. Now let's move into the first kind of compliment that actually lands, the kind that doesn't fade after a few seconds, but instead stays with someone. This type of compliment isn't about appearance in the usual sense. It's about perception. It shows awareness. It says, without saying it directly, that you're paying attention on a deeper level. Imagine looking at someone and calmly saying that there's something intense or mysterious in their eyes and that you like it. Notice what's happening here. You're not rating her beauty. You're not comparing her to anyone else. You're not trying to impress. You're simply describing what you observe. That shift matters. Psychologically, being observed without being judged creates a sense of intrigue and safety at the same time. It tells her that you're present, grounded, and emotionally tuned in. This kind of statement works because it invites reflection. Instead of thinking about how she looks, she starts wondering what you see. Her attention turns inward. Curiosity replaces performance. From an emotional wellness perspective, this is powerful because it reduces the pressure many women feel to constantly present or impress. You're not asking her to do anything, you're simply acknowledging something subtle. There's also an important nervous system element here. Calm, measured speech, delivered without urgency, helps regulate the emotional tone of an interaction. When you speak slowly and with intention, your body language and voice signal stability. Stability is calming, and when someone feels calm around you, their mind opens. They become more receptive, more reflective, more emotionally available. This isn't manipulation, it's co-regulation, a basic principle of healthy human connection. After saying something like this, silence is your ally. There's no need to explain or justify. Silence gives the word space to settle. Many people feel uncomfortable with pauses because silence can trigger anxiety. But learning to sit comfortably in silence is a sign of emotional strength. It shows that you don't need constant reassurance. It also gives the other person time to process what they're feeling, which often deepens the impact of what you said. The second kind of compliment builds on this depth but touches a different layer. It acknowledges personal power, saying that someone feels dangerous in an intriguing way and that you appreciate people who know their own strength does something very specific psychologically. It recognizes energy rather than behavior. It validates intuition, confidence, and complexity without labeling them as good or bad. Many people, especially women, learn to soften or hide parts of themselves to fit social expectations. When you calmly acknowledge that edge without fear or judgment, it can feel incredibly freeing. It says, I see your strength and I'm not threatened by it. From a relational health standpoint, this is significant. It creates balance rather than competition. You're not trying to dominate or submit. You're meeting strength with steadiness. This kind of compliment also communicates emotional boundaries. You're not overwhelmed. You're not trying to tame or control. You're simply present with what is. That presence is reassuring. It shows emotional capacity, the ability to hold intensity without becoming reactive. In healthy relationships, this skill is essential. It allows passion and playfulness to exist without tipping into chaos or insecurity. Timing matters here. This is best said when there's already some light energy, teasing, or challenge in the interaction. In those moments, it reframes tension as attraction rather than conflict. It turns sparks into curiosity instead of defensiveness. Again, this supports emotional safety, which is the foundation for any meaningful connection. Throughout all of this, the key theme is intention. Words are not tools to extract validation. They are expressions of presence. When spoken from calm awareness, they don't push or pull. They simply land. In the next part, we'll explore the final type of compliment, one that subtly builds trust and emotional grounding, and why feeling safe is not the opposite of desire, but one of its deepest roots. The final type of compliment is the quietest, yet in many ways the most powerful. It doesn't sparkle on the surface, but it works on a deep emotional level. This is the kind of statement that creates grounding, trust, and a sense of ease. It speaks directly to the nervous system rather than the ego. When said with calm certainty, it can change how someone feels in your presence almost instantly. Imagine expressing in a steady and relaxed way that someone feels safe around you, not as a question, not as something you're hoping is true, but as a simple observation. What this does psychologically is important. Most people try to prove they're trustworthy. They explain themselves, justify their intentions, or overcompensate with reassurance. That effort often signals insecurity. Calmly stating safety, on the other hand, projects it. From an emotional health perspective, feeling safe is not about being boring or predictable. Safety allows the body to relax. When the body relaxes, the mind becomes more open. Openness is where intimacy grows. This is why emotional safety and desire are not opposites. They work together. When someone feels emotionally grounded around you, they're more likely to explore connection, vulnerability, and closeness without fear. This kind of statement also establishes leadership in a gentle way. Not control, but direction. You're showing awareness of the emotional environment and your role in it. That awareness is deeply reassuring. It signals that you're not lost in your own anxiety or chasing outcomes. You're present, attentive, and stable. In healthy interactions, this quality reduces stress and builds trust over time. It's important to understand that this isn't about claiming ownership over someone's feelings. It's about acknowledging the shared space between you. You're not saying you are the only source of safety. You're recognizing a moment of ease and naming it. Naming emotions can actually help regulate them, a principle used widely in emotional education and mental health practices. When feelings are recognized calmly, they tend to settle rather than escalate. Taken together, these three ways of speaking are not scripts to memorize. They are expressions of a mindset rooted in self-respect, emotional regulation, and presence. When your words come from that place, they naturally carry weight. They don't rush, they don't beg, they don't perform. They simply reflect what you notice and what you feel, without attachment to outcome. For your own well-being, this approach also reduces internal pressure. You're no longer trying to impress or manipulate, you're communicating honestly and calmly. That honesty builds confidence over time, because confidence grows from alignment between what you feel and what you express. When those two match, your body and mind relax. Others can sense that ease. If there's one thing to take away, it's this. Meaningful connection doesn't come from saying more. It comes from saying what's true, with clarity and restraint. When you speak from emotional stability, your words naturally become more impactful. They linger not because they were dramatic, but because they were grounded. As you move forward, pay attention to how people respond, not just to what you say, but to how you say it. Notice how calm presence changes the atmosphere of a conversation. With practice, this way of communicating becomes less about technique and more about who you are. And when your words reflect a steady, respectful inner state, they don't just attract others, they support healthier, more balanced connections for everyone involved.